Some garden days are quiet, and then there are days like this, when the to-do list isn't a neat, themed plan, but a mix of everything your space has been whispering for attention. This morning, the first thing that caught my eye was right in front of the chicken coop, a tangled, forward-leaning mess of rose canes, refusing to stay politely in place. Whether they had slipped from their supports or grown wild while my back was turned, they were begging for a firm but careful hand. Before tackling them, I paused to appreciate the rest of the bed in the cool shade of morning. The lemon coral sedum along the edge glowed with that fresh, lime green brightness, hugging the border like a perfect frame. Behind it, vivid violet dahlias exploded in deep purple blooms, larger and healthier than they've ever been. They've found their happy place here, each stem heavy with buds promising even more color in the days to come. A peek between them reveals hydrangeas still lush, purple fountain grass swaying, salvias tucked here and there, and a weeping blue spruce adding quiet structure. This mix of textures and colors feels alive, even if the roses themselves are misbehaving. While I gathered my tools, the chickens scratched and chattered nearby, content after a fresh helping of watermelon, though they'd promptly covered most of it with dirt. It's part of their charm. I set my gaze back on the rose canes, threading my way through the bed to see where repairs were needed. The coaxial staples that hold the cable clips in place had worked loose in spots, their nails no longer gripping the weathered wood. A quick trip to the barn for fresh staples, a hammer in hand, and I was ready to retrain each wandering stem into place. Carefully weaving the canes around the supports, I decided not to strip away too much. The summer heat was climbing, and I wanted the plant to keep as much shade and strength as possible. Still, the improvement was immediate. From across the bed, you could see the difference, order replacing chaos, the rows arching gracefully again. One day, I hope these canes will climb up and over the window, framing it in soft pink blooms. From there, I moved along the row, pruning back 4 other roses in varying states of wildness. Some were easy fixes, others were nearly swallowed by hibiscus and other plantings. The thick tangle provided wonderful shade for the chickens, but I knew the roses would bloom better with more light and air. It's a delicate balance between beauty and practicality in a working garden. Before moving on, I reached for a bag of rose-tone fertilizer, a spring ritual I also repeat in midsummer. Feeding now will ensure a second flush of blooms before the season turns. These roses are en route, which means even if they send up suckers from below, they'll still bloom true to the Zephyrine Druin variety I planted. It's a small reassurance that even if disaster struck, the plant could rebuild itself. What began as a rose pruning session quickly became a full flower bed cleanup. Moving around the corner, I trimmed the smoke bush for a neater shape, opened up space so sunlight could reach through, and admired the crabapple tree heavy with tiny fruit that will soon blaze red. Beneath its canopy, lamb's ear spread thickly, too thick for the dappled shade it's in. It will be happier relocated to the south garden. I also lifted out yellowing baptisia, deciding that next season this bed would be simplified, the crabapple and roses as anchors, with more air and breathing space between. With the bed tidied, it was time for another long overdue task, cleaning the potatoes stored in the barn. Weeks earlier, I'd harvested them and left them to dry completely before brushing off the soil. The shade beneath the willow tree was perfect for this work. With an old rag in hand, I brushed each potato, checking the skin with the thumb test to see if it was firm enough for storage. Any whose skin rubbed off too easily went into the use first pile for upcoming dinners. Sorting them into crates, large on one side, small on the other, made it easy to know which to eat first. The smaller ones tend to sprout sooner, so we'll start with those. Each crate was lined with burlap for breathability, labeled, and carried down into the cool darkness of the root cellar. A second burlap covering keeps the light off them entirely. But before calling it a day, one more eyesore called to me: the pineapple fountain. Algae had claimed its surface, muting the joy of running water. Armed with a shop vac and vinegar, I drained it, scrubbed away the green film, and rinsed every crevice until the stone gleamed. The transformation was almost startling, the kind of instant gratification you don't often get in gardening. The sound of gentle water returned, restoring calm to the corner it occupies. As the day wound down, I looked back over the list: roses pruned and fed, a flower bed opened to light, potatoes cleaned and stored, a fountain restored to its peaceful trickle. None of these jobs alone would have filled a day, but together they created a sense of deep satisfaction, the quiet progress that keeps a garden thriving. Some projects will wait until cooler days, like moving the hibiscus or redesigning that bed entirely, but for now, the work done was enough. The sun slipped lower, lighting the crabapple's fruit in a warm glow. The chickens settled in, the fountain whispered, and the scent of roses drifted lightly in the air. It wasn't just a day of chores, it was a day of shaping and caring for a space that gives back in beauty and peace. And that, more than any finished checklist, is what keeps me coming back outside, pruners in hand, ready for whatever task calls next.